Okay, gang, welcome back to part 2 of reviews, views, and everything else. Part 2 of the Constitution. We left off on Article 2. We're going to start with Article 3, Section 1. I was trying to find a better way to hold my iPad. You're not going to get all of it, but again, I will link this in the description box below. Alright, Article 3, Section 1. It says the judicial power of the United States shall be vested in one Supreme Court and in such inferior courts as the Congress may from time to time ordain and establish. The judges of both the Supreme and Inferior Courts shall hold their offices during good behavior and shall at stated times receive for their services a compensation which shall not be diminished during their continuance in office. Number 2, the judicial power shall extend to all cases in law and equity arising under this Constitution, the laws of the United States, and treaties made or shall be made under their authority, to all cases affecting ambassadors, other public ministers, and consuls, to all cases of admiralty and maritime jurisdiction, to controversies to which the United States shall be a party, to controversies between two or more states, between a state and citizens of another state, between citizens of different states, and between citizens of the same state claiming lands under grants of different states, and between a state or the citizens thereof, and foreign states, citizens, or subjects. In all cases affecting ambassadors, other public ministers and councils, and those in which a state shall be party, the Supreme Court shall have original jurisdiction. In all other cases before mentioned, the Supreme Court shall have appellate jurisdiction both as to law and fact, with such exceptions and under such regulations as the Congress shall make. The trial of all crimes, except in cases of impeachment, shall be by jury, and such trial shall be held in the state where the said crime shall have been committed. But when not committed within a state, the trial shall be at such place or places as the Congress by law may have directed. Section 3. Treason against the United States shall consist only in levying war against them, or in adhering to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort. No person shall be convicted of treason unless the testimony of two witnesses to the same overact or on confession in open court. The Congress shall have power to declare the punishment of treason, but no attainder of treason shall work corruption of blood or forfeiting except during the life of the person attainted. Article 4. Section 1. Full faith and credit shall be given in each state to the public acts, records, and judicial proceedings of every other state, and the Congress may by general laws prescribe the manner in which such acts, records, and proceedings shall be proved, and the effect thereof. The citizens of each state shall be entitled to all privileges and immunities of citizens in the several states. A person charged in any state with treason, felony, or other crime, who shall flee from justice and be found in another state, shall, on demand of the executive authority of the state from which he fled, be delivered up to be removed to the state having jurisdiction of the crime. No person held to service or labor in one state under the laws thereof, escaping into another, shall, in consequence of any law or regulation thereof, be discharged from service or labor, but shall be delivered up on claim of the party to whom such service of labor may be due. New states may be admitted by this Congress into this Union, but no new state shall be formed or erected within the jurisdiction of any other state, nor any state may be formed by the junction of two or more states or parts of states, without the consent of the legislation of the states concerned as well as of the Congress. The Congress shall have power to dispose of and make all needful rules and regulations respecting the territory or other properties belonging to the United States, and nothing this Congress shall be so construed as to prejudice any claims of the United States or any of the particular state. Number 4. The United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a republican form of government, and shall protect each of them against invasion and on application of the legislature or of the executive when the legislature cannot be convened against domestic violence. Article 5. The Congress, whenever 2/3 of both houses shall deem it necessary, shall propose amendments to this Constitution, or, on the application of the legislatures of 2/3 of the several states, shall call a convention for proposing amendments, which in either case shall be valid to all intents and purposes as part of this Constitution when ratified by the legislatures of 3/4 of the several states, or by conventions in 3/4 thereof, as by one or the other mode of ratification may be proposed by Congress, provided that no amendment may be made prior to year 1808 shall in any matter affect the first and fourth clauses in the 9th section of the first article, and that no state without its consent shall be deprived of its equal suffrage in the Senate. Article 6. All debts contracted and engagements entered into before the adoption of this Constitution shall be as valid against the United States under this Constitution as under the Confederation. This Constitution and the laws of the United States shall be made in pursuance thereof, and all treaties made or which shall be made under the authority of the United States shall be the supreme law of the land, and the judges in every state shall be bound thereby, anything in the Constitution or laws of any state to the contrary notwithstanding. The senators and representatives before mentioned, and the members of the several state legislatures, and all executive and judicial officers both of the United States and of the several states shall be bound by oath or affirmation to support this Constitution, but no religious test shall ever be required as a qualification to any office or public trust under the United States. Article 7. The ratification of the Convention of 9 states shall be sufficient for the establishment of this Constitution between the states to ratifying the same, the word "the" being interlined between the 7th and 8th lines of the first page, the word "30" being partly written on an erasure in the 15th line of the first page, the words "is tried" being interlined between the 32nd and 33rd lines of the first page, and the word "the" being interlined between the 43rd and 44th lines of the second page. Attest William Jackson, Secretary. Done in convention by the unanimous consent of the states present, the 17th day of September in the year of our Lord 1787, and of the independence of the United States of America for the 12th of America, the United States of America the 12th, in witness whereof we have hereunto subscribed our names. George Washington, President and Deputy from Virginia. So then in Delaware we have George Reed, Gunning Bedford Jr., John Dickinson, Richard Bassett, Jacob Broome. Maryland we have James McHenry, Daniel of St. Thomas, Jennifer, Daniel Carroll. Virginia we have John Blair, James Madison Jr. North Carolina, William Blount, Richard Dobbs Speight, Hugh Williamson. South Carolina, J. Rutledge, Charles Coatsworth Pinckney. And if you go to South Carolina, down in Charleston, there's all kinds of Pinckneys, all kinds of tombstones, and everything's Pinckney. We have Charles Pinckney. Pierce Butler. Georgia we have William Few, Abraham Baldwin. New Hampshire, John Langdon, Nicholas Gilman. Massachusetts, Nathaniel Gorman, Rufus King. Connecticut, William Samuel Johnson, Roger Sherman. New York, Alexander Hamilton. New Jersey, William Livingston, David Brearley, William Patterson, Jonah Dayton. Pennsylvania, we have Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Mifflin, Robert Morris, George Clymer, Thomas Fitzsimmons, Jared Ingersoll, James Wilson, and I don't know if that's Governor Morris. And like I said, we will delve deeper into the Constitution of the United States a little more deeply, but I just want to get this out there for you to hear it and recognize some of the things that are or are not going on in our current society. So now we're going to read the Bill of Rights. And right here's the preamble to the Bill of Rights. The conventions of a number of the states having at the time of their adopting the Constitution expressed a desire, in order to prevent misconstruction or abuse of its power, that further declaratory and restrictive clauses should be added, and as extending the ground of public confidence in the government will best ensure the beneficence ends of its institution. So let's go read our Bill of Rights. And we have 10 amendments. You can see over here we have 10 amendments. And we will be reading them. And see, all of this was done in the joint Congress. So let's just read this. Let's just read this paragraph up here. On September 25th, 1789, the first Congress of the United States proposed 12 amendments to the Constitution. The 1789 Joint Resolution of Congress proposing the amendments is on display in the Rotunda in the National Archives. 10 of the proposed 12 amendments were ratified by 3/4 of the state's legislatures on December 15, 1791. The ratified Articles 3 through 12 constitute the first 10 amendments of the Constitution, or the U.S. Bill of Rights. In 1992, 203 years after it was proposed, Article 2 was ratified as the 27th amendment to the Constitution. Article 1 was never ratified. All right. Transcription of the 1789 Joint Resolution of Congress proposing 12 amendments to the United States Constitution. Congress of the United States begun and held at the city of New York on Wednesday, the 4th of March, 1789. The conventions of a number of the states having at the time of their adopting the Constitution expressed a desire, in order to prevent misconstruction or abuse of its power, that further declaratory and restrictive clauses should be added, and as an extending the ground of public confidence in the government will best ensure the beneficent ends of its institution. Resolved by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States, in Congress assembled, 2/3 of both houses concurring, that the following articles be proposed to the legislatures of the several states as amendments to the Constitution of the United States, all or any of which articles, when ratified by 3/4 of the said legislatures, to be valid to all intents and purposes as part of said Constitution. Articles. In addition to an amendment of the Constitution of the United States of America proposed by Congress and ratified by the legislatures of the several states pursuant to the 5th article of the original Constitution. Article 1, the first, or Article the first. After the first enumeration required by the first article of the Constitution, there shall be one representative for every 30,000, until the number shall amount to 100, after which the proportion shall be so regulated by Congress that there shall be not less than 100 representatives, nor less than one representative for every 40,000 persons, until the number of representatives shall amount to 200, after which the proportion shall be so regulated by Congress, and there shall not be less than 200 representatives, nor more than one representative for every 50,000 persons. And again, that one was not ratified. Article 2, no law bearing the compensation for the services of the senators and representatives shall take effect until an election of representatives shall have intervened. Article 3. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peacefully to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Article 4. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Article 5. No soldier shall in time of peace be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law. Article 6. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the person or things to be seized. Article 7. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia when in actual service in time of war or public danger, nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. Article 8. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district within the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, to be confronted with the witnesses against him, to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. Article 9. In suits at common law where the value in controversy shall exceed $20, the right of trial by jury shall be preserved, and no fact tried by a jury shall be otherwise re-examined in any court of the United States than according to the rules of the common law. Article 10. Excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. Article 11. The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others detained. Number 11. The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. Article 12. The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. Attested, Frederick Augustus Muhlenberg, Speaker of the House of Representatives. Signed, John Adams, Vice President and President of the Senate. John Beckley, Clerk of the House of Representatives, and Sam A. Otis, Secretary of the Senate. So, there we have read the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, and the Declaration of Independence. So I will post the links below. You can go back and read them at your leisure. Also, we will, in a future video, go back through and dissect some of these things. And also, I still have questions as to Jasara Nasara. I have questions as to, are taxes a legitimate thing that we have to be paying? Because I've done a little bit of going through all the Congress minutes and notes, and in the beginning, all of our money for our United States Treasury came from ship, came from docking, and ships came from fines and tariffs on loads and goods coming in, and we the people were not to be taxed. So watch for that video. But anyway, I hope you got through all of these things pretty good, and thank you for sticking with me here on reviews, views, and everything else, and I'll catch you on the next one. Have a good day.